Greetings viewers, if you click the video link, you're here to listen to me talk about the Glock 49. So what is it, why is it, and do you need one? Well, for those of you that may already be familiar with Glock and their modeling number system that they have going on, the Glock 49 is essentially a Glock 19 frame with a Glock 17 slide on top of it. So for those of you that are not Glock fanboys and have no idea what I just said, or you're kind of new to the pistol realm and you're just seeking out options and you don't know anything about the Glock models and such, let's take a look at this other camera view I have here and we'll make a little bit of sense out of it for you, hopefully. All right, so right here I have lined up in kind of a size order. This is the Glock 26, which is the smallest double stack 9mm that they offer. This is the Glock 19, which is the most popular Glock model when it comes to concealed carry. We have the Glock 49 here, which again is the kind of child product between these two right here. And this here is the Glock 17. This is their full-size double-stack 9mm option that is standard issue for law enforcement agencies that are employing Glock 9mm pistols. So again, like I mentioned, the frame size for the Glock 19 here, this pistol holds 15 +1 rounds. So the +1 would be the one that's in the chamber. So it has the little bit kind of shorter grip, which is ideal for concealed carry, considering that if you are carrying inside the waistband, that this portion of the pistol here is going to be covered, and the part that's sticking up, the shorter that it is, the less likely that it's to be seen or print through, or your shirt gets snagged on it and something's sticking out where somebody's going to see it and cancel out that concealed part of the carry there. So again, the full-size pistol here, this one holds 17 +1. So again, basically you get the best of both worlds. You have this longer slide here. Again, this is the 49. So you have the longer slide, the longer barrel, the longer sight radius on it, and you have the smaller grip size. So again, you have less kind of sticking out with the potential of being seen by someone that you don't want seeing you carry your pistol. Again, is it necessary? Do you need it? Maybe some people would say it's an answer to a problem that doesn't exist, but you know, if it exists and people are buying it, I definitely got my hands on it, and it's intriguing me, and it's possibly going to replace my FN 509cc Edge as my carry weapon, but we'll get to that another time. So this particular model is offered as an MOS, which is their optics mounting system. So if you look on the top here, you can see it has this removable plate. There are 2 screws here. I was a little disappointed to learn that this is now plastic. I guess it makes sense that if you're going to get rid of it and put an optic on here, they're not going to spend the manufacturing costs on making that out of metal. It's cheaper to do plastic. It's a little bit lighter as well if you're not. So when you're carrying it, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain, right? So this is actually plastic now. But you remove these 2 screws, and then you have mounting options for your choice of optic that's on there. So when I say that this is a Glock 17 slide, you cannot actually take this slide off of here and replace it directly onto a Glock 17 frame. And the reason for that is because they did have to make a little bit of modifications to it in order to apply it to a Glock 19 frame. So if we were to look, this is the 17, this is the 49, at the end here. The end of the slide meets with the end of the frame, so they're able to leave that flat. If we look at the 49, you see it has this extra protrusion here to bring the slide out further, but it needs a place to mate up with the recoil spring and the guide rod on the inside. So they that's their choice that they do there. Is the same thing on the 34, which is a 17 frame with the longer slide and barrel. So it's a similar situation. So this is not a direct replacement. If you, let's say you have a Glock 22, which is a full-size 40 cal, that's the same dimensions as the 17, and you think you're gonna get this so that you can swap it over, you can't. So I hate to rain on your parade there if you had any sort of conversion plans with that. However, the Glock 19 frame for the Gen 5 series, this particular one, as you can see, is heavily modified. This was my original carry gun. It is a Gen 3, so it is not the exact same. Obviously, you can see the mag release is different. Generally, the dimensions and the size and shape are the same. However, if you have a Gen 5 pistol and a Glock 19 or even a 23, this is exactly the same size. So that frame is no different. It's just the slide up here that's different. The barrel is a Glock 17 replaceable barrel. I have actually swapped the barrel from this gun to this one back and forth for either of them, and they do fit perfectly within there. So in terms of ordering any sort of aftermarket accessories, barrels, conversion barrels, whatever you're looking for, if you're wanting to augment this pistol in any way, Generally, you're going to have to pay attention to any accessories that are attached to the frame are going to have to be designated for a Glock 19, or anything for the slide or barrel is going to be a Glock 17, and again, Gen 5. So if you have an older model, you need to pay attention when you're ordering stuff, making sure that it matches up. Now, as time goes on and this becomes more accepted in the community there for guns and aftermarket parts, things will start being labeled as Glock 49 compatible. But for now, you kind of have to do your own research and, again, paying attention to anything that you're going to buy and add on to this weapon. But for the most part, it's the same Glock pistol as any other Gen 5 that you open up. Same frame, same trigger, all the same mechanisms are still the same. All the safeties that are in place inside internally. Same Glock quality that you would expect coming right out of the box. I have no problem throwing this in a holster, loading it up with carry ammo, and going to town without ever even testing it, because I am just that confident in it. Not going to actually do that, but I would or could if I felt the need to. So again, for those of you that are familiar with Glock, there's pretty much not much else to say about it. Again, Glock 19 frame, Glock 17 slide, that's it. Go forth and conquer. In terms of measurements and dimensions, we can kind of take a look at that if it's something that you're interested in, you're not familiar with it already. So taking a look at the Glock 49, like I said, it's a Glock 19 frame, so when it comes to the grip, this holds a 15-round magazine. If I'm going to put the tape measure directly up against where your finger would go in the trigger guard, we're at about 2¼ inches in terms of grip. When I personally hold this weapon, my hand makes it all the way exactly to the bottom of the mag well here. So I have barely any room, but it fits perfectly, and I'm able to grip it completely with my entire hand. When we look at comparing that to the grip on the Glock 17, we've got about 2½ inches worth of grip. So again, not a huge amount. Again, this is a 17-round mag that goes in here versus 15. When I grip this thing, I do have a little bit more, maybe it's kind of hard to tell with the camera angle, but there's definitely a little bit more space down here, but I can get my entire hand on that grip. So now when we compare that to something like the Glock 26, which again is their super little tiny boy, we're only getting out to 1½ inches. And when I put my hand around this grip, my pinky and the bottom portion of my hand here is left kind of hanging out in space. However, the magazine actually protrudes out and fills that gap, and I have the little finger grip extension on there, so it's just the right size to grab onto, and it holds a 10-round or 9-round magazine, depending on if you get the flush model so it fits here with your pinky hanging off, or you get that little extension, it'll be a 10-round magazine. But again, this is their little tiny boy. So now when we're talking about barrel length, so in terms of the Glock 49 here, what we're looking at from the chamber to the end of the barrel, we are at about 4¼ inches in terms of barrel length. So comparing that to the length of the 19, we're only looking at, and again, this particular barrel is sticking out a little bit here, but we're looking at 4 inches, so it would actually be about 3¾ inches. So again, not a huge advantage. The length of the sight radius on the 19 versus the 17, again, is it going to matter? Maybe, maybe not, depending on the shots that you're taking. I am fairly confident that regardless of the sighting system or the sight radius or the barrel length, the gun is generally going to be more accurate than I am. Unless I've got this thing clamped down in a vise and I'm using some sort of mechanical device to pull the trigger without adding any outside input to it, the gun is always going to be more accurate than me. I just have to find something that's comfortable, something that fits my hands, something I like and enjoy shooting, and I'm able to operate it confidently, especially if it's not having mechanical issues all the time, which I don't generally run into when it comes to Glock pistols. I know everybody out there has their own views and thoughts and opinions on that, and again, it's the same thing as you telling someone your favorite color is red and they tell you you're wrong. It's your personal preference. You're the one that's going to be carrying it. You're the one that's going to be putting your life on it if the time comes. So as long as you are comfortable and confident and you enjoy it and you like it, then that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what anybody else's opinion is. So I think we've kind of covered everything that there is to cover in here. Again, there's not much to say. It's a Glock pistol, so you either like them, you hate them, or you have no idea about anything about them. They're plastic frame, metal slide, and there is no external safety. We've got it kind of gone over the dimensions, the round counts, and things that are available. We can look at what comes in the box in the event that you're not familiar with that. And then probably the next logical step that we're going to take is we'll just go out to the range and put some rounds out of it. All right, so standard again with pretty much every Glock pistol, you're going to get your plastic Tupperware container here along with your pistol. And when we take a look inside, as required. It's going to come with this cheapo little lock that's a piece of garbage, and you can pick with pretty much anything you can find laying around. It's got your little plastic bore brush here with the handle that you kind of screw that on. I don't think I've ever actually used one of these to clean a pistol. The Gen 5 model, so that's what this is offered in. There is no earlier model variation for this pistol. Is going to come with 3 magazines. It's got a magazine loader. And then now they're starting to offer these, I guess, in a little bag there, back straps. So we've got our extra pin. Since this is going to be a little bit longer, since you're going to have that extra width on the back side of the grip here, they give you this little individual punch tool that's plastic, so don't be too rough on it. If you're trying to force the pin in there, you could bend or snap that. And again, we have our 2 back strap options. They both have beaver tails on them, which means it's got this longer portion that sticks out on the back of the pistol. One of these actually makes the grip a little bit thicker, so if you have bigger hands and you have trouble grabbing the skinnier grip, they offer that. So the one that's got these kind of ridges here, it pushes the grip out towards the back a little bit to make it a little bit thicker. And then this one does not really change the grip at all. It lines up flush back there, but it just adds that beaver tail on there. So you would just kind of hook this on the back, throw that forward. After popping that pin out, push your new pin in, and you'll have your extra grip there. All right. So this does come with a mounting plate here, if I'm not mistaken. This is for the RMR. They used to offer a whole big sheet of them for various optics, but then again, that's manufacturing costs for them, crafting these things out of metal, and you're not even using any of them, or you're using one out of the entire package. So in order to save themselves some costs, they appears that they are just providing you with one, but it has extra screws and the tool needed to torque those down. And then of course we've got our important safety guidelines, instruction manual. They do not supply the pistols with spent casings from the factory anymore. I think that's been stopped for a while, but that used to be one of the things that would come in there, and a little yellow envelope. So that's basically it in terms of what comes in the box and what you get in terms of the Glock model itself. So the only thing left to do right now is to head out to the range and put some rounds out of it and make sure it actually functions. All right, so we made it out to the range. So one of the things that I highly recommend that you do, especially if you have a new gun or something you're going to be using as your carry gun, is loading up a mag or at least a handful of rounds of your chosen carry ammo and making sure that it actually runs and runs well in the gun. Just shooting one round isn't going to tell you anything. You need to put a couple in there. So I've got some old carry ammo in there from my Glock 19 that's been in there for probably anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So probably about time to use that up and move on to the next batch of newer stuff. I have some 147 grain plus P Federal HST, plus I threw in 5 rounds of Spear G2. So again, we're just getting a couple different defensive ammunition choices that I may have or employ, making sure that those function. The other mags that I have here, I literally have a hodgepodge of ammo for the specific reason, again, of just running stuff through it and making sure it functions and feeds. I've got Federal, I've got American Eagle, I've got some Blazer, I've got aluminum case, I've got brass case. So you can see we've got several different rounds and types in here that we're going to go through and check out, and again make sure it functions. Now I'm not doing this just to make sure the gun's reliable or it's going to work at all. I have no doubt that it will, but it's just to make sure again that we have no issues with any specific ammo, because you can have 5 of the same exact pistol model and all 5 of them may choose different ammos that they like to run for whatever reason. It happens. It does not matter what brand pistol you are a fan of, it can happen to any of them. So let's shut up and just go ahead and load this thing up and start putting some rounds out of it. I'm going to start with a mag of just regular ammo. I'm going to save the duty ammo till the end. First bag's done, ran flawlessly, no issues. Now on to some aluminum case and other random, again, hodgepodge ammo. This is a Glock 17 mag, so it is sticking out a little bit further, but again, it's not going to have a problem. Ran like a champ. All right, so on to the duty ammo again. Starting, we have 5 rounds of Spear G2 at the top, and then the remaining 10 are Federal HST, 147 grain plus P. Ooh, busted. So for whatever reason, we did not lock back on that last round. Any number of reasons for that. Could be the mag, ammo, again, it's older, who knows. But didn't have any issues with the other rounds. I'm not sure if you could see the target while I was shooting at it, but if it's something you're interested in looking at, you can see here the center X there was the first mag. The second mag was in the head. The third mag with the duty carry ammo was aiming at the 8 in the center there between the two. Gun ran flawlessly. Again, we had one incident of the slide not locking back on the last mag. Unsure why that is. It's definitely happened with various pistol models, depending on brand, caliber, doesn't matter, it happens sometimes. Also busted myself flinching at the end there, so now I have some push-ups to do to make up for that. All right, so that's gonna be about it for the Glock 49 review. Again, there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It's a great little pistol from a great company that I definitely have no second guesses or issues about or with. Gladly carry it, and again, potentially could be my new carry piece, so we're just going to do a little bit more messing around with it, seeing what we can do with it, tinkering. I'm going to have some videos coming up, putting some different things on it, so stay tuned for those. So hopefully you found this video useful. If there's anything that I did not go over, I did not answer a burning question you may have regarding this pistol, or I didn't cover something in specific, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will be glad to get back to you. Or if it's something that's a little bit more in-depth and requires more than just some words on the screen, I'll be glad to actually do a follow-up video to help explain or answer anything a lot better. So with that, I am going to call this video here. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.